Hey yogis, welcome to this 30-minute class. It's going to bring you to the middle splits, and it comes based on your requests, so I'm excited to get it to you. Let's get started. We'll begin it at the top of the mat. Take your feet close together. Draw shoulders onto your back. Establish your firm footing and tune into your breath awareness. Allow the breath to slow down. Your next natural inhale, reach your arms wide and overhead. Taking a slow dive down, empty out. Inhale, flatten back. Exhale to step the left foot to the back of the mat. I'm going to rock with this forward and back, bringing some warmth into the legs. Begin walking your hands to the left, inside the feet, and you'll pivot so the feet are parallel. And we're going to rock into each knees, bending them one at a time. Still linking your breath with your movement. Allow yourself to go deeper and deeper if that is called for. And then pivot all the way to the right. Hands frame the foot, step to plank pose and pause. Spread the collarbones. Keep a long spine. Hug the deep belly in. Take another inhalation. Exhale all the way to your belly. Lifting for cobra. Send this into child's pose. Split your knees pretty deeply. Let the hips rock left and right. Bringing some softness into the hip joints. Melting the chest down. Couple breaths. Spread your fingers. Come on into downward facing dog. Sink each heel down. Stay long and loose in your neck. Spread your feet as wide as the mat or a little bit wider. Press the heart back and the sits bones high. You can rock your hips left to right. And come back to downward facing dog. Sweep the right leg up behind you. Place this foot outside right hand. Left foot outside left hand. Take a squat and finding our way into the inner thighs little by little. Can rock this side to side. Pour your body over legs, parallel the feet and fold. A few rounds of breath. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, hands to your waist. Inhale all the way up to stand. Lift your chest. Neutral spine. Let's bring the feet back together again. Release the arms. Next inhale, sweep wide and overhead. Exhale, diving down. Inhale, fill up, look forward. Exhale, step back, right foot. Rocking forward and back. need mobility in the legs and the hips in order to do the middle split. Primarily, of course, it's the adductors that we need to open. Middle split's one of those shapes that, seriously, not every body wants to do, because the hip joints, each of our hip joints fit differently into our hip sockets. Sometimes it's just the bone that doesn't want to do it. So don't get discouraged. Reach a limit that feels still healthy, happy, and productive without getting too focused on the goal. Let's walk our hands to the right, pivot, and once again, rock into each knee. Go as deeply as you like. True Vinyasa, breathing, being fully immersed right here and now. Each moment good enough. Next time you're headed left, head all the way over, pivot, frame the foot. Step to plank pose, inhaling, spread your collarbones, pause, long spine. Hug in from Mula Bandha, pelvic floor into the belly. Take another big breath in. Lower to your belly. Lift the heart. Downward facing dog. You press the fingers so firmly your arms get longer. Allow the neck to be very long. Sweep your left leg up high behind. Place this foot outside, left hand. Right foot outside, right hand. Sink for squat. Let your toes turn out though. Really use your elbows to press the knees wide, really coming into inner thighs. Pause to breathe. You can keep the strength of Mula Bandha even though you're opening. Dive over legs, parallel your feet, fold. Few breaths. Inhale to flat. Exhale, hands to your waist. Inhale all the way up to stand. Neutral spine. Join the feet together. Release the arms. Establish breath. We'll make our way to downward facing dog. Sweeping upward and diving downward. Inhale flat. Exhale, step or spring to lower. Maybe you're ready for chaturanga. And an upward dog or cobra. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Sweep the right leg up high. Stack the hip, bend your knee, and you'll see you're already playing with middle split. But you really have to actively ask for it. So point that knee up as high as it'll go. Stay long in your low back. Hug in from Mula Bandha. We'll breathe. Stepping right foot outside, right hand. Ground your back heel. Keep the right hand low. Sweep the left arm up toward the sky. Gonna lean against your right inner knee or inner thigh as you roll your chest open. Long breath. keep the legs this deep as we float up to warrior two. Spreading out in every direction. Straighten right leg, heel toe in just a bit to create Trikonasana, reaching toward the front of the mat and then down. Left arm reaches high to the sky. Make part of the shape your hips, so the left hip rolls away from the right inner hip, and that's how you target the right inner thigh really nicely. We'll breathe here for a little while. And come on up to stand, arms out wide. Now parallel your feet, hands to the waist. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold. Hands land, you lengthen your spine one more time. And then widen your feet. It's not going to be the widest we go. But see if you can get pretty wide, enough to bow down and take the forearms to the ground. If you don't get there, no big deal. Stay on your hands. Do your best. Find a healthy limit. A few rounds of breath. Come on to hands, lengthen, look forward. You're going to pivot all the way onto the right knee for Skandasana. The left toes point up, and the right heel, do the best you can to keep it down, but if it has to lift, that's okay. Hands to the heart. If you want more depth, take this right arm out in front of the shin bone, sweep the left arm wide. Some of you will bind that right away. Left arm wrapping behind. You can find your fingers and maybe your wrist. Look past the left shoulder. Let's unwind it. And because we're taking middle splits today, we're going to sit right down. Take the right heel into your groin, but keep the angle of your legs really very wide open. You'll face the top of the right foot or the center of your pubis. Fold forward. If it feels like the sits bones want to lift, allow them to, because that's going to target a little deeper at the inner leg, and that's what we're looking for today. Come back up to sit. Scoop this knee up, plant the foot, find Skandasana again. And you're just going to pivot over to the right, frame this foot, sweep the leg high behind you. Take your Vinyasa flow, any way you like to go. To downward facing dog. Sweep the left leg high behind, stack that hip, bend the knee. Tuck the tail, hug Mula Bandha, and point the knee as high as it'll go so you're already finding that center split action. Couple breaths. Placing left foot outside left hand. And ground your back heel. Keep the left hand low as you roll the right arm toward the sky. Lean your weight against your inner leg, so you're opening the inner thighs. Breathe. keep the legs this deep as we float up to warrior two, spreading out past the periphery, allowing some warmth to build. We'll straighten left leg, heel toe in a little closer with the back foot. Spread out wide as you reach for Trikonasana toward the front of the mat and then down, wherever you land. You can ask for a left inner thigh stretch by rolling the right hip away from the left inner thigh. Keep spreading out. Press firmly through feet, reach all the way up, wide open arms, parallel your feet. Let's release the hands, interlace them behind, lift the chest. Take wide-legged fold with this rotator cuff stretch. Handful of breaths. Bring your torso up to parallel, release the fingertips down. You're going to bend into this left knee for Skandasana, the right toes point up. Take the hands into your heart, spread across the chest as you look beyond that right shoulder. If you want more from it, send the left arm in front of the shin bone, arms open wide. Another possibility is to bind it. Take hold of your fingers or even the wrist if you're very open. Breathe. Unwind. You're going to get warm for middle splits, so pull this left heel in towards your groin, but keep the angle of your legs very wide open, almost like you're in wide legs. Face the pubis and fold. Allow the sits bones to lift. Climb back up to sit. Come back to Skandasana, stamping the foot, lifting the seat, pivoting to frame the left side. Sweep the left leg out behind you. And take your flow. To downward dog. And step or hop through to sit right down. Drawing the soles of your feet together, your knees wide. Like pull your pubic bone really close to the heels. Split your feet wide apart. Activate the outer leg so that you're helping the knees move closer to earth. You can even pull up on your feet to assist that. You can stay upright or fold this forward. It's nice to experiment with which one gives you a better opening. So find your way. We'll have about 5 breaths. Roll back up to sit. Scoop the knees together. Extend the legs long. Have a few more postures to do before we hit the pinnacle. I think the most effective is probably this next one, and it's something of a yin pose. And you do need wall space. It is so worth finding. Believe me, it's a passive stretch. It's going to get you super open. You want to scoot up as close as you can with the side of your hip. As you lie back, extend the legs up the wall. And allow the feet to drift apart. Wherever they land, you're not forcing anything. You're just going to let time be the main ingredient. So I'm going to give us 2 minutes here. You'll notice, very likely, that the feet will get lower and lower. And if at any point you're in too deeply, use your hands to help yourself out. Keep softening through lips, your neck, jaw, face. Soften through low back and belly. Release the body's gripping. That is already 2 minutes. I'm going to start inching out, lifting legs until the feet touch. Pause here for a moment. Let the legs kind of recover. Slide off of the wall. And let's meet at downward facing dog. And walk your feet in a little closer. And we're actually going to practice crow pose. It may seem like it has nothing to do with wide legs, but it's one of the most powerful poses to kick on the inner thighs and therefore build heat. So if you're newer to it, you can cheat by taking your knees to the outer armpits or outer triceps. But if you've been doing this for a long time, you're right behind the triceps, high up into the armpits. Keep your heart light, your gaze just slightly forward. Squeeze everything in. Tight, tight, tight to your center line. So the knees have to kind of stabilize inward in order to maintain the shape. And that's how the inner thighs are working sort of without you even knowing it, because the focus tends to be much more on the arms. Let's stay for 5 count more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can step or shoot this out. Come through one last vinyasa before we take our final shape. And downward facing dog. And step or hop through to sit all the way down. Almost there. A couple more things. One is Upavishta Konasana. So take your legs pretty wide. We're going to do it 2 ways. So don't go your widest just yet. Powerful through legs, flex the feet, fold forward. And come on up. You're going to swivel to face the right leg. As you do, let the legs kind of open wider. You might have to use your hands to assist in that. Point the left toes down so we start to get a different stretch of the back leg. Fold. If you're very open, you turn that leg all the way. It could become the side split. And being in the side split definitely does help your middle split. We've got about 5 breaths. Come on up, face the middle. Sit tall, swivel to face the left leg. Let the right toes point down, that could be enough. Or let it pivot. Use your hands for help. Come all the way into the side split. Folding. Come on up. Come back to this wide-legged shape for a second. Close off the legs. Almost there, but not quite. One more thing. Come onto all fours. You're going to hit frog pose, probably the most intense adductor opening there is. So from hands and knees, you send your knees out wide. Keep your hips at the level of the knees. In other words, not forward, not behind, just at them. Let the pelvis move down toward earth. You can come onto forearms or all the way down to chest. Take your feet in line with your knees. So shin bones run parallel to one another. See what you can release in 1 minute's time. That's been a minute. Use your hands, take it slow, inch your way out. From all fours, bring your knees together and just squeeze them. Squeeze them, tight. We're looking for this activation of the inner thighs because the warmer they get, the more pliable they'll be, the more likely you'll be to get your middle split. Also, building strength into your flexibility is a great way to stay protected in the joints and to make sure this is a long-term sustainable practice for you, not just something you hit maybe get injured and then have to lay off for a week or two. Keep squeezing. 5, 4, still squeezing. 2, 1, hardest yet, squeeze. And then release. Step your feet to wide legs. Our moment has come. Use your hands, inch out slowly. At a certain point, you'll come onto forearms. Test it. If it feels safe, you go a little deeper, and maybe deeper still. As soon as you can't sustain it, you pause right there. If it feels good, you can even point the toes up, tip forward, take the arms forward. Find your depth. This is our moment in the middle split. I'll do one variation of it while we're here, but let's spend a good 8 breaths if we can. You can always back off if you found yourself too deep. If you are in deeply and you feel good, you're going to help yourself just sit on your sits bones with these very wide legs. You can point the toes up, point the toes out. Spend a little more time here building the muscle memory, so next time it's even easier. You got just 3 breaths. And then loosen it up, bring the legs closer together. Scoot onto your back, hugging the knees into your chest. Pull them in close, roll them in circles. Circle the other way. We'll extend the legs and find a short shavasana to absorb the practice. Short shavasana, matching a pretty short practice. Still so essential. I'll wake you up in a minute. Coming into deeper breaths. Awakening fingers and feet, head and neck. Spread your limbs out long. Suck the knees in. Make your way up to a seat. Thank you for practicing, Yogi. Stay in touch. I read every single one of your comments, and I do really try to fulfill your requests. So look forward to hearing from you. See you soon. Namaste.